Hi, I'm the old principal Lao Xiaozhang, and I want to welcome you again to the Old Principal television program. Actually, in this program, we study a little bit of English. You get a little bit of my philosophy along the way, and you have an opportunity to 帮助你的听力的能力. Okay, today's lesson is the power of gravity. The power of gravity. 这个重力的能力. Now, before we begin, we need to listen to the story.
Number 161, Power of Gravity. Try standing on the beach and watching the fiery ball of the setting sun as it slides down behind a hill or seems to silently sink into the ocean. That giant atomic power plant is the center around which our Earth swings, 93 million miles away. We actually travel around the sun at the speed of 1,140 miles a minute. Boggles the mind, doesn't it? What keeps the Earth from heading off into space? Power. But what power? Why don't you try this? Take a piece of string and tie a rock to it, and hold the end of the string and whirl the rock in a circle around your head. Now let go of the string. What happens to the rock? Does it keep traveling around your head? No. The rock will fly off in a direction all its own, and you'll be lucky if you don't break a window. Have you ever wondered what kind of string would it take to hold the Earth to its orbit around the sun? Actually, you'd have to have a steel rod more than 3,000 miles thick and 93 million miles long to keep the Earth whirling around the sun without flying off into space. Wow! What power? You may ask, is there a name for this power? Yes. We call it gravity. Gravity is strong enough to hold a great planet in its orbit around the sun. So, how can a bird fly through that kind of gravity without flying off toward the sun? Because the Earth has gravity too. The gravity of the Earth overpowers the gravity of the sun and holds everything that is on the Earth, including you and me, without letting us be pulled off into space by the gravity of the sun. I'm not sure I can wrap my mind around that. Can you? But it works. Wow.
Okay, now we come to the story. There's a lot of interesting words in this lesson, so let's kind of take it slow, and I will use English to explain English, and 不得已的时候我就用中文了. But my Chinese is not so good, so maybe I better stick to English. Here we go. Try standing on the beach and watching a fiery ball, the fiery ball of the setting sun as it slides down behind a hill or seems to silently sink into the ocean. Whoa! Now that is a mouthful. Wow. Let's see if we can look at this. First of all, we're talking about standing on the beach. 你在这岸上，可能是海岸, okay? But it could be somewhere else. It could be on a lake or a river beach. And we're watching the setting sun. 太阳下山. Okay? So, and it's called a fiery ball. A fiery ball means a ball made out of fire. 这个是一种形容词 And it makes it very interesting. We're watching this fiery ball as it's setting down, sliding down. It says 滑下去啊, sliding down, setting down behind the hill. 在 we say 下山 okay, 在山后面 or 看起来好像 silently 静静的 what? 静静的 sink into 落在 what? The ocean 这个大海中啊。Going on, that giant means 很大很大巨大的 atomic power plant. Okay, 或者核电厂 atomic. You heard of a 核子弹 okay, that's atomic bomb. Well, this is atomic power plant, 这个核电厂. And so the sun is like a giant 巨大的核电厂. Atomic power plant is the center. 是中心 center of what? Around which our earth swings. Okay? This is the center, and our earth swings. Now, when I say swing, usually we think of swing as swing. Okay? 摇来摇去. Okay? But in this case, swing has a different meaning, and the earth, 我们的地球 swings around, 转动一圈两圈 around the sun. Now, excuse me, how far away is the sun? How far away? 93 million miles away. 93 million miles. Whoa, that's such a big number. I can't even say it in Chinese. But 93 million is a lot of miles away from here. Going on. Okay, now, this is astronomy. This is physics. This is, about 50 years ago, I studied this. And 我已经还给老师. But for this lesson, we will sort of resurrect it, 叫它复活一下. Okay? We actually travel around the sun. We, that means 我们的地球. Okay? At the speed of, so what is our 速度? Every minute, 每一分钟, every minute, we are traveling at 1,140 miles. Every minute. 1 minute. 1,000. Just think, in America, you could go all the way across America in 3 minutes. Now, that's fast. Our world is traveling that fast. By the way, if an airplane traveled that fast, it would get so hot, it would burn up. 会烧火啦, 着火啦, because it's too hot. So I wrote here, it boggles the mind, doesn't it? It boggles. Boggles? What? 使我们很惊奇. Boggles the mind means 是没办法理解 太难理解这个 it boggles the mind. Going on. Now, keep in mind we're talking about Zhongli. What keeps the Earth from heading off into space? What keeps the Earth from and flying out into space? What is it? Going on? Power. Power. But what power? What power is it that keeps our world from flying out there? Going on? Why don't you try something like this? So now you can do an experiment. Here's the experiment. Take a piece of string, 一条绳子, piece of string, 绳子, 一条, got to be a little bit long, okay? And then tie a rock to it. Tie a rock to it. Okay, so we're going to tie this rock to the string, 接好,绑好, okay? And then hold the end of the string. So we got this string here, and we got the rock down there, okay? And then whirl the rock in a circle around your head. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whirl means 让它转动. Whirl means to go around in a circle. 转一圈,两圈. So it's whirling around your head, okay? Around your head, okay? And then let go of the string. So you let the string go. Now, what happens next? Whoa! If you go on, what happens to the rock? The rock, whoa! Does it keep traveling around your head? No. It goes, whoa, flying off somewhere. Going on. The rock will fly off in a direction all of its own. So 按照自己的方向. It's not in its orbit, 不是按照它的轨道, flying around your head. It flies off. Okay. And we wrote here, and you'll be lucky if you don't break a window. If 如果你不打破这个窗户, 已经算是蛮幸运的. Of course, because you don't know what direction it's going to go. It just, whoa, it could go that direction. Whoa, it could go this way. So it flies. It doesn't go around your head like this. It flies off. This, okay, you understand that. Now going on. Have you ever wondered what kind of string it would take to hold the Earth in orbit around the sun? Now, there are a few words here that we need to look at. First of all, orbit. 轨道. O-R-B-I-T. Orbit. 轨道. Okay. So, have you ever wondered? 有没有想想看? Okay. What kind of string? 要用多么大的一个绳子 okay? 能够使这个地球 don't go flying away. So what is it going to? So we're going to take a string, okay? Now we need to make the string big, very big, very big. How big? A string. We're going to 绑在这个我们的地球 because we want it to go around the sun, around the sun. So how big a string is it going to take? Okay, going on. Actually, you'd have to have a steel rod, a rod, 是一个这个铁棒，这个钢棒 okay, 铁棒 but not just a little tiny rod, okay, 3,000 miles thick. 3,000 它的粗到什么地步？3000英里之粗。Whoa, now we're talking about, and that's what it would take to keep our world going around the sun and not flying away. Oh, by the way, you would need to have it 93 million miles long. Now that, my friend, is a really long piece of string. Okay, and this is what it would take. 需要这个才使我们的地球定在它的轨道，这个转动一圈 around the sun. Going on? Wow. Now that is a lot of power. Okay? That's a huge amount of power. So now we come to the next question. Of course, this whole lesson is about gravity, and by now we already know what gravity is, but the lesson still asks the question, wow. You may ask what is there a name for this power? This power, this power that can hold the world from going around and around and around and then not flying off there. That power, we call it gravity. Gravity. Okay? Gravity. Gravity. By the way, did you know, this is 题外话, did you know gravity also has a different meaning? 严重性，严重，一件事情是很严重吗？ Sometimes it's grave, or we say there's the gravity of the situation. 这个是题外话. But anyway, going on, gravity is strong enough to hold a great planet in its orbit around the sun. So, the sun's gravity, okay, 那个太阳的这个重力能够这个吸住我们的地球，so and stays in 还是要跑这个轨道 as it goes around, orbit around the sun, orbit around the sun, 这个轨道 around the sun. So, now here's the question. How can a bird fly through that kind of gravity without flying off in the sun? Now remember, you have this power, huge amount of power, and this power is holding our earth right there. It's holding it. So, Wow, what's holding it? Why can a bird, 这个飞鸟, why does the bird stay on the earth? He's flying. Why doesn't he go whoo and fly off into space? 跑到太空里. Okay? How can a bird fly through this kind of gravity without flying toward the sun? Why doesn't it fly toward the sun? You'd think it's going to fly toward the sun. Going on. Because our earth, 我们的地球也有它的重力。我们的地球也有我们的重力。Our earth has its own gravity, and it holds the little bird down to this earth. Of course, he has to fly. He has to overcome the gravity so that he can fly. Going on. The gravity of the earth overpowers. Okay. 这个地球的重力 Okay, overpowers. Okay, 超过这个 the gravity of the sun overpowers the gravity of the sun. And it holds everything on the earth. It holds everything on the earth. You see? I can hold this on my hand. Why is it doesn't fly up? Because here is gravity at work. Gravity helps us. When I want to go running, 去跑步的时候好辛苦 because I am overcoming, okay? Overcoming 要胜过这个重力 and so I can run. So, to answer your question, why does the little bird not fly off in there? Because the gravity holds us here. Okay, going on, including you and me. So, why do you stay here? Now, this is my water. It's not much, the little water. Why did the water go down? Because gravity is taking the water down. And now, what would happen if I drop this? We'll try this. Maybe you can hear it, maybe you can't. We'll see. Why did it go down? Because of gravity. Well, gravity is good. But sometimes in the early morning, when I'm out walking or running, gravity is not so good. You know why it's not so good? Because it's easy to stumble in the dark. 很容易在这个早晨的这个还没有天亮，黑黑的，很容易跌倒。It's easy to stumble in the dark. So, gravity is good. Gravity also creates problems. So, but fortunately, gravity helps us because without gravity, 没有这个重力, this will go flying up in the air. So, gravity is important. The sun has gravity. So our world travels in a big circle, 转一个大圈子, going around the sun. But our earth also has gravity. And this holds everything down. Fortunately, it holds everything down. Can you imagine what it would be like without gravity? Okay, with no gravity, hot air might go down, 这个热的空气会下, and cold air might go up. Whoa, 这个不简单啊，这个好难啊. Okay, so it includes you and me, and we are not pulled off out into space, out toward the sun, because we have the gravity of this world going on. I'm not sure if you can wrap your mind around that. Whoa, 你能够想得通啊？或许你想不通啊。Gravity is so powerful and so important also. 想不通啊。But it works. 它还是会运作呢。It just keeps going, keeps going. Always the same, never changes. Wow, 不简单啊，不简单啊。Well, we've come to the end of our lesson on gravity. So now, why don't you try to overcome gravity and sit down to your computer and write us an email. 写一个电邮给老校长 the old principal at gmail.com. And also you can go to our website. Our website is www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, it's been fun to be with you and to talk about gravity, and I hope that you will join us with a friend next time.